What's up, Rockstars? Today we are going over all the cool and awesome games that were at Essen Spiel. Thank you to my channel sponsor Into the AM. As a company that believes hard work and a great product is a proper way to conduct business, I am delighted to have them as part of the channel. They have some of the coolest graphic t-shirts around and an absolute best fit and feel that has continually exceeded my expectations. With new shirts arriving all the time and other products like boxers, hats, and even a monthly shirt club, I wholeheartedly recommend them to you. Check out the link in my description of this video for an exclusive 10% off everything they sell. Now, in 2022, I was not able to make it there. Instead, I went to Gen Con and was able to kind of afford that. But if you want to see me actually do the kind of content I did at Gen Con with interviews and showcases and stuff like that, I can certainly do that. It's just all about kind of funding. So I will be having a donation drive, again, a fundraiser at the end of the year. So stay tuned for that. And if you want to be able to, have me go across the pond over to Europe and take a look at all this in person, maybe even do a meet and greet, that will be available to you in the future. So then guys, of course, thank you so much for what you did last year. It was amazing. And I'm very blessed to have you guys. But some of my patrons, some of you guys are there sending me pictures and I can still comment on them. Not quite as good as being there, of course, but that doesn't matter. I still get to show it off to you. So let's look at some of the awesome stuff I've seen. And then at the end of the video, we're going to be showing off a super cool detailed look at some of the miniatures for Dante. And that is going to be super awesome looking, trust me. So without further ado, let's go on and jump right into Dragon Ball Z Duel Battle Saiyans. Now I saw this advertised, but I didn't see the miniatures. And so I figured, just like it has been, it's going to be like cards and stuff like that. But nope, this is a team-based skirmish. You can see some of it there. Now, a lot of this I didn't see, like TsumiArt.com didn't even resolve for me. And then there's GameOnTabletop.com, which I know who they are. I'm assuming they're running this for them at the convention and not necessarily involved in making it. Maybe they are, I don't know. But then you have this Yoka by Tsumi, and you have a Yoka by Tsumi.com. And if you actually go there at TsumiArt.com, I apologize, that's the one that works. The other two, or the other one doesn't. But this one, you kind of see what they normally do. They do a lot of these really high quality stuff. You can see the painting and the clear use of effects, stuff like that. They make some cool freaking stuff. This Joker diorama is absolutely awesome. I have no idea how much it costs. You guys let me know how much 1,100 or 188, and I think the comma's a decimal. So I think it's 1,188.03 euros. Is that like, is that real? That's expensive if that's the case. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm reading it wrong. Maybe you guys are doing something weird, but I mean, they look absolutely amazing. They really, truly do look high quality. So hopefully that goes into this. We're going to take a couple more looks at this. These are some of the, at least, prototype minis. And I must say that they actually are quite significant from the source material. They're not the most dynamic, but they're doing really good stuff. For instance, we got the disc move there. We got the Masenko there, right? We have the his Tian's move there. I can never remember the name. He shots it at Let's Sell like a million times, but just some really good stuff. You got Raditz there shooting his, little bullets. Nappa's famous, I'm gonna blow up the military. I think it's 2 fingers actually. So that's super cool. You can see Goku's thing here. He's got the Kamehameha and the Kaioken and stuff like that. So very cool to see it kind of really, embrace the IP, I think. Now, this is kind of the battle, and this is exactly the area that they battle in this kind of version, though Raditz wasn't there with Vegeta and Nappa, but that's besides the point. But it looks kind of plain, right? Like, I would love to see some 3D terrain. That'd be super cool when you're, flying around in there. To really give you a sense of flying up and doing different things. But, yeah, I guess we'll see. A lot of tokens, a lot of cards, and then it looks like a dynamic map system with a team-based 3 versus 3 by the looks of it. Here you can see it a little bit. It's a little blurry. I apologize, but you can see like Gohan has his Masenko, and notice it's Son Gohan, Son Goku. So they're doing kind of, I think, the really interesting stuff there. Even Piccolo has a regeneration, so he can like regenerate his arm and stuff like that. Very cool to see. I'm excited for it. I think it looks awesome, and special dice with pictures on it. That's fun too. All right. Now, this is the opposite of fun. This was going to be the Mythic Games booth, and as you can see, it's empty. Now, it's kind of, I guess, confusing to me. I don't know why it's empty, mainly because I feel this would have been a cheaper trip for them than Gen Con, and they were at Gen Con. I don't know where that Gen Con, but I thought they did really well at Gen Con. They sold a ton of product, and overall, the response was, hey, we're glad you're here, showing off your cool games and selling them, and, you know, operating like a company should, right? So it's very disheartening to see this. I'm going to reach out to them. I have not yet. I apologize. And my wife just had surgery today. She's fine, by the way, but I've been in the hospital all day. I just came home. I wanted to record this for you guys, so you guys have my opinions on this before Essen Spiel is old news and we move on with our day. So let's go ahead and talk about this. But either way, I do apologize. I'm kind of running behind here. But it's very sad to see this. So I'll be reaching out to them. And it wasn't just that. Boardcubator, they were doing the Kingdom Come Deliverance board game. Their booth was also empty. Very unfortunate to see these empty booths. I saw them at Gen Con. I'm seeing them here. I hope this is a trend that dies and doesn't come back, to be honest. It's just sad to see. And if you didn't know, typically they pre-purchase the booth like well in advance. So that's already paid for. It's done. But then you have to still send people there. And if you don't have the funds to do that, or for whatever reason you don't logistically, then it's just an empty spot, which is kind of unfortunate. But it gave people, I guess, a place to sit. I don't know. It's sad. I don't like seeing that, guys. What I do like seeing is super cool indie games being shown off. This is Nanolith. I actually did a unboxing and review. You can check both those out on the channel. Super cool. They advertise it as kind of like a sci-fi Final Fantasy game in a board game. And it's very much, I mean, there are side quests, you know, people you can talk to, NPCs, and you kind of go about your business, and then you go and you do these like very narrative story events, stuff like that. It's all in like a book here, and they have like comic strips and whatnot for the story. Miniatures for your heroes, standees for your enemies, and yeah, it's very cool. I think they're running this in German actually, which is, I think, neat to see. This is Heroes of Might and Magic 3 by Archon Studio, and I guess my main thing here is that it doesn't have the table presence I want in a board game per se. That doesn't mean it's a bad game. It just means this picture doesn't do it very good justice. This is your battle board here where you would fight. You see your units, their units, and you place these cards around, and you put the minis there. Otherwise, your little hero unit on the mounted areas going through the map and exploring. You can see the fog of war as you explore and find, mines and, maybe the underworld, stuff like that. But, yeah, you got dice, you got tokens, you got lots and lots of cards, but, very minimal, kind of thing here. In fact, the battle board takes up most of the space there. So, very interesting to see. If I get this game, which I believe I will get a prototype to show off to you guys, I will be sure to comment on the table presence when I'm actually sitting there. It's not the same as a picture, of course. Now, moving on from that, we have a lot more table presence. This is Aeon Trespass Odyssey, and dear Lord, guys, this is still the #1 game I'm looking forward to. It is so freaking cool. It even beats out Celestial. I was blown away by the prototype. Blown away. And just the theme and the style and the scale of it, my goodness, this guy's chasing you around the freaking map. There's like a small version of him that does that on the overworld map. Yeah, see, actually there he is right there. So there's this little small version, and then there's oh dear Lord, now we're fighting him version. But super cool to see all of this. I mean, it just looks great, and there's actually a few of these. So that's wonderful. Oh, if you didn't know, see that little labyrinth tile there? That's from the Labyrinth Bowl. As he's running around, these are falling from the sky like on top of you, and it can trap you inside of its labyrinth and like knock you down. Meanwhile, it's like running over people, and it's a wild boss fight. Super cool. But yeah, a lot of just really cool minis. Look at this face here, guys. Look at that. And this is one of the cooler Titans you can get. He's like on the freaking boat, just a giant dude. I love the scale of all this. Speaking of scale, look at some of these minis. I mean, it's crazy. It's so cool. So cool. And then you get this one. Look how big this is. It's monolithic. I mean, this thing is massive. That thing must be like that. Just giant minis. Inferno guy, he's cool. This guy was awesome because he can like really spin those around and like extend them and stuff. Kind of like, it's almost like fighting Kratos with like a ball and chain kind of thing. Just super cool stuff. I'm so excited for that. This is Upzone. I also have a patron that recently shared this on Facebook, I believe, as well. But this is a picture of it set up there, and I think it looks super cool. I think it always has. This is very much a spot for Necrons, right? It's kind of the dark green Egyptian style, circle rune looking kind of stuff here. Very much my Necrons would feel at home there, though they're purple, but that's okay. It looks quite nice. I mean, it's still kind of the same thing when it comes with actually playing a tabletop game and line of sight blocking, because you do have skinny walls like this. So it makes sense when you look at that way. When you look that way, it's like flat, kind of like the Stain D problem, right? But when they're, 3D like this, I think it's cheap. It looks cool. If you're in an apartment or something like that, or you just can't deal with a huge amount of terrain taking up all this space, that's something to look into. I just share this because it's freaking cool, guys. I think I would like every single piece here. This is cool. I mean, we got Demon Slayer, we got Dragon Ball Z up the wazoo, got more Demon Slayer down there. I mean, just a ton of cool stuff. There was a lot of this at Gen Con as well. Okay, this looks really cool. This is Fabula Ultima, I believe is the name of it. It's a RPG. This was on Kickstarter, I believe. RPG, like a tabletop RPG, like Dungeons and Dragons, but it like Final Fantasy, SNES, askew Japanese JRPG kind of simulation here. So the art is just stellar. I mean, it looks so cool. The jobs look cool. It just, all of it looks like awesome. And I would love to dive into that. It just looks super cool. Riddle me this, guys. What painting level are you? Because I feel like I'm at a 1, which is kind of sad. I feel like I was like, man, maybe I want to go a painting level 2 or 3. But so if this is 1, and this is 2, and this is 3, 3 looks amazing. 1 and 2 look about the same from this distance. And I guess that's just to prove that you don't need to be super great to have it look great on the table. When you pick it up and look at it, it's much different than placing it on the table. Guys, love painting level 1. Looks fantastic on a game board or neoprene mat or something like that in terrain. Looks awesome. Don't be afraid of it. Okay. Guys, fair warning here. This is scary. Mech-Force Germany. Guys, this is how it starts. This is how it starts. You start making mechs and you name one Panzer and then boom, we're done. It's over. Okay? Don't give them any ideas. No, this looks super cool. This looks awesome. I was a big fan of Front Mission, if you've ever played that game. It's kind of like Advanced Wars with mechs that you could customize. It was super cool. Back in the day, I think up to Front Mission 5. I think after 5, they went more like action-oriented. But seriously, super cool. I love mechs. These look awesome. There's some cool minis too. I'm not going to show all of them. There were a whole bunch of pictures and not at the best angle. No offense to the picture takers. Just to show you guys, I think this art was cool. And I wanted to make a joke. Moving on from that, we have Battle Systems Fantasy Battlefield. Not only does this look cool, not only can you buy this, but they are putting this into their own game that's coming out, and it looks super cool. It's essentially core space fantasy version, and it definitely has impressive table presence. I mean, look at that, guys. That looks incredible. Looks really, really good. And you can set this stuff up. Now, they've added some, moss green stuff and a nice neoprene mat and whatnot, but all this just snaps up. They did the terrain originally for Fallout Wasteland Warfare before they did a lot of the resin stuff, actually. And it was really good even when I messed with it there. Okay, this is Victorum from Chip Theory Games, so it does exist. It is here, and they have the correct purple tiles, so that's good too, or chips, I apologize. It looks darn pretty. This actually looks really small, like the print on it. I was kind of surprised by that, but yeah, you're going to be fighting in this Coliseum and doing all sorts of stuff. Looks pretty, which I would expect nothing less from them. I'm glad they were able to show it off. This is Epic 7 Arise. I haven't shown this in a long time. This is by Farside Games. He also did the Avalonia, which they'll be coming back with. I actually really enjoyed Avalonia. A lot of people didn't like the art. I really liked it. It was kind of Mad Maxy to me. But anyway, this is based off of a mobile RPG, and it's been around for years. I guess it's actually quite popular. I played a little bit. I always try to do my research on anything I cover. But I'm glad to see it finally actually making progress. I know they bit off a lot more than they thought they could chew at the beginning. It was definitely a much taller task than I think they were ready for. Making board games is difficult, guys, and you quickly realize that when you start doing it. But I'm glad to see it progressing. All right, after that, we have a Tamashii prototype. The one thing I wanted to comment here, first of all, is that the minis actually are fairly plain, and I don't think that's a bad thing. I would prefer to paint plain miniatures than these super ornate, ridiculously detailed stuff. These look very paintable, in my opinion, and with the colors, it'd just be a lot of fun too. But look how minimal it is. I really dig this. You got some map tiles, you got some minis. Now there's a tray over here. A little bit of it's cut out, and there was one that showed that more often, but I really wanted this kind of like top-down view just to show like that's the game board. I really appreciate games like that. I've been playing the Marvel Zombies retail version, the Zombicide one, and I mean, it's kind of like this, where it's 4 tiles, you put them together, it's always the 4 tiles you get to play. Not always, the tutorials too, but either way, it's really nice. I like playing on a smaller table. I don't need some huge, massive thing all the time. I dig it, and cheaper price too. This is Barbaric, and first of all, it's a cool mini. They're all cool minis. I wanted to show you the scale of it, but what you see here, and there was another picture that showed it, but it's kind of it. This is what I was kind of talking about when I just felt it was very pricey. I mean, the minis look great. It's all sculpted bases. All that's really cool. But there's no, I mean, it's mostly just that board, some tokens, a whole bunch of cards. There are quite a few cards, and then those minis, and that's it. So for how much it costs, I was like, I don't know about that, but it does look cool. Sadly, with as big of a board it is, it's not as much table presence as you would think because it's a lot of empty space mostly. Okay, this is Warcrow Adventures by Corvus Belli. They do Infinity, if you didn't know that, and they've done a few other Kickstarters around their Infinity kind of anime sci-fi section, but this Warcrow is now fantasy, and they're going to be doing this. It's going to be Adventures, which is the board game, and I believe they're also doing just a Warcrow skirmish. I've reached out to them to actually try and at least get my hands on this, show some minis off, show something. Sadly, and this picture doesn't do it justice, and I would actually like really love to get my hands on this and really show this, but maybe I can even zoom in a little bit. But look at the sculpt of this. Look how great these sculpts are. Again, very dark, very matte resin. I think this is CO cast actually, so almost what it looks like to me. Print, which very nice detail, but doesn't show the best, if that makes sense. Not without some at least really good lighting, but even like a quick dry brush on these, I think would have really popped them out. But they look great. They look really cool. This monster, like whatever the heck's going on here, it's like on its hind legs and it's all up like that. Super cool, I think. So excited to see more of that. That's coming up here soon. Okay, this one, I can't ever pronounce the name, and I'll put it in the description if I can find the spelling for it. This looks way cool. I was not expecting it to be this big. I remember seeing the render of this, but I didn't realize it was this big. Now, this is a game that kind of gives me a little bit of anxiety with just how much stuff is going on there. But look how huge this guy is. Massive. I'm impressed by that. This is Eye of Zamrook, I believe. I always say Zamrock, but it looks like there's two O's there. Invasion. This is a super cool game from some passionate guys. They've actually reached out to me, and sadly, I haven't responded to their email. They reached out a while back, which I regret. The game is, again, one of those games that just has a ton of stuff. It reminds me of, Dungeon Universalist. I mean, it's like super... There's components galore. This is like a Euros gamer's dream, in my opinion, when it comes to all the mechanics and little doodads and little things you can do, which looks super cool. But not for me. But for people that are into that, I think they love it. And the design of the theme of the game seems very, very cool. I'd like to learn more. My patron, who actually I think got some time with it, really, really enjoyed it. So that's good news. Oh, here it is. Look at that. Oh, it's too much. I just see that and I see like 45 minutes of setup time, but a lot of people, they'll set it up and they'll keep it on the table and they'll play it and they'll love it and they'll play it and they'll play it and they'll play it, and more power to them. More power to them, I say. Enjoy your hobby. All right, moving on. Again, this is another one. Ahotnik. I don't know, something like that. It's like a Russian like mech battle, Pacific Rim kind of stuff. Soon on Kickstarter. Look at some of these minis though. They look super cool. There's some like kaiju looking kind of like enemy stuff. There's some very like army looking kind of stuff. There's some very Japanese kind of warrior looking stuff. It looks super cool. Destinies Witchwood, this is coming up very soon. It's a new expansion for the Destinies system, which is an app-driven narrative game. And they use it was originally the Time of Legends, like the really small minis, right, that they have. But then that means it's just to scale. These houses are like huge. This is, I believe, Slavic Witchwood looking stuff, which is why you have kind of the Baba Yaga kind of house kind of thing going on there. Not that that's the like rooster house junk that Baba Yaga is, but like you get that kind of stuff in there, is my understanding. It looks super cool. Sword and Sorcery coming soon to Kickstarter. This is Abyssal Legends. I didn't know about this. How long have you guys known about this? Why didn't you guys tell me about this? I don't think this is the one that was going to be on the Tebaru system. They announced a Sword and Sorcerer on the Tebaru system, but I feel if that was the case, they'd advertise it like this. I think this is something separate, but I guess we'll find out. Now, there's also Divinus. This looks super cool, actually. This is the app-driven game that was announced, I don't remember how long ago, but the minis look super cool. I really dig these right here. Like these guys right, or this guy right here, like the Styx guy or whatever, looks super cool. Look at this guy over here. I love Greek mythology. I love the design of that. The God of War kind of stuff here looks super cool. Speaking of which, I'm still waiting for God of War, but that looks awesome. This is one of my favorite things. I absolutely loved Force of Radgost. I love the charm of it. I love the experience. I love the passion of it. I love the lore of it. And look at all these cool minis. I like it. Again, I apologize for the picture. Again, I would love to go there and show you guys all this in 4K, but we will do what we can. But it looks really like a lot of fun. I love the little kids that you're trying to rescue and all the different monsters you come into contact with and all that. Just looks like a lot of fun. Now let's talk about Dante, the Invasion of Hell. Let's do that. Now, this is all we've seen so far is this, and we haven't really seen anything else besides that mini here. So let's take a look. There's that mini there, by the way. But oh dear Lord, look at this guy. Look at him. Ooh, ooh. Ooh, I like it. I like it. That is my jam. Look at this hero here. Looks great. You can see the layer lines here. This is a resin 3D printed miniature by the looks of it. And in fact, not even the best printed. I know a company that could print better, Game Create. But it looks really great. This is a spider. You can see like the little like things off it. It looks freaking like creepy. You see like an archer over here. Then we actually have a few more pictures here. Here's a clear picture of him. It looks to be the same kind, but this is on the other side of the display. Look at this. I believe it's a hero, though. Look at the mask. That looks so freaking cool. Guys, that looks awesome. You can see a little bit of the spider here and a little bit crisper detail. And there's another one of those enemies there. That spider is just killer. It really is. And so, yeah, definitely cool. Let's scroll over here. And then we got this guy here. It looks kind of like a Kratos kind of guy, right? With a beard and bald. And a little splash of red there. That's kind of fun. Looks like a little bit of color there as well. Sculpted bases on all of them. And then you have this big giant lady here. I don't know if it's like how much is this like? I don't know. I don't know what it is, but it looks cool. There's that spider again. It's like over something, and it looks like there's multiple there, though this one has a chain there, and oh, it's got a chain there too. So multiple spiders, multiple of these guys. That render they show, and then some heroes. Guys, it looks super cool. I can't wait to show you guys more. They did some awesome stuff in Age of Apocalypse, so I'm really excited to see what this has in store for us. Guys, that is it. Is there something at Essen Spiel that I missed? If so, please let me know in the comments below. Let us know. I'd love to take a look at it, love to give my opinion on it. Perhaps I'll even include it in another news video. Or if there's just a game I need to know about, you guys had time with it, again, let me know. I hope you have a great rest of your day. I hope you enjoyed this kind of look at Essen Spiel. I know it's not me being there, but it's as close as I can get, and I still wanted to share a lot of this. Look at that freaking snake. Look at that junk. Oh, even that base is cool. It's cool. It's cool, guys. It's cool. Guys, enjoy the rest of your day. Take care.